हरि बोल, हरे कृष्णा। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैता गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम तत्सत। जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की। At night in autumn, the atmosphere is pleasant because it is neither very hot nor very cold. The mild wind blowing through the gardens of fruits and flowers in Vrindavana appeared very much pleasing to all. All but the gopis, who were always overtaken by heartfelt sorrow in the absence of Krishna. Okay. I want somebody to read that. Let me pick up on Sri Ram. Can you read out?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
There are two kinds of transcendental feelings for those engaged in the worship of the Lord. One is called Sambhoga and other is called Viraha. According to the authorities in the disciplic line, Viraha worship is more palatable than Sambhoga worship. Sambhoga takes place in the direct touch, whereas Viraha takes place without such direct contact. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us to accept Viraha worship. In the present state of affairs, we cannot make any direct touch with the personality of Godhead. But if we practice Viraha mode of worship, we can transcendently realize the presence of Lord more lovingly than in His presence. Without love of Godhead, there is no meaning even to direct contact. During the presence of Lord, there were thousands and thousands of men, but because they were not in love of Godhead, they could hardly realize the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Therefore, we must first activate our dormant love of Godhead by following the prescribed rules and by following the footsteps of the authorities who are actually fixed in the love of Godhead. The gopis provide highest example of such unalloyed love of Godhead, and Lord Chaitanya, at the ultimate stage of realization, displayed the Virha worship in the mode of the gopis. In the mundane world, there are so many shadows of Virha. A loving wife, husband, or friend may for some time be maddened by the absence of the beloved. Such state of mind, however, is not permanent. The loving husband or wife takes to another and forget everything of the past. This is so because there is no reality in such relationship in the material world. The spiritual situation, however, is completely different. A bona fide lover of God could never forget him, even in exchange for everything else. The devotee of the Lord cannot be happy in any circumstance without the Lord. In the absence of the Lord, the devotee associates with him by remembering his separation, and because the Lord is absolute, the devotee's feeling of separation is transcendently more relishable than direct contact. This is possible only when we develop genuine love for him. In that state, the devotee is always with the Lord by feelings of separation, which become more accurate and intolerable in such unsuitable circumstances. The mild wind reminds that the gopis of the association of the Lord, and they felt separation for him acutely. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Please read out the beginning. At night in autumn, the atmosphere is pleasant because it is neither very hot nor very cold. Mild wind blowing through the gardens of fruits and flowers in Vrindavana appeared very much pleasing to all but the gopis, who were always overtaken by heartfelt sorrow in the absence of Krishna. Okay, so this is a very exotic, high-class discussion on prema, on love for Krishna. Most people will not understand it if they have not got an introduction to what love is in terms of the Bhagavad Gita, in terms of the Srimad Bhagavatam. if you don't know, it is very difficult to actually understand. So here it is mentioned, I mean exotic, because when you're separated from Krishna, the feelings of love that you experience are more intense and deep. Vipralambha and Sambhoga. Of course, Viraha, it is mentioned. Viraha means separated. So, the gopis were subjected to this by Krishna. In fact, he gave them this opportunity. In the Ras Leela, he disappeared all of a sudden. And he reappeared again. This is one of the great scenes in the Bhagavatam. It's a Panchamo Adhyaya, 5 chapters describing Rasa Leela, and that comes the great Gopika Geetam also. There, he disappears from the Rasa Leela, gave them an amazing personal association, and then he disappears. Then he takes Radha and goes away. And then from Radharani also he disappears. So this is described very nicely. And they all become mad with separation from Krishna. They start searching for Krishna everywhere. They start asking the animals, the does, the deer, the trees, the creepers, the plants, Tulasi. Everybody they asked, did you see Krishna? Did you see Krishna? Like that. Their madness is described. And they even started imitating Krishna and his pastimes. They're actually completely mad, transcendentally mad. And that is being commented by many great devotees as being the height of absorption in Krishna. And it's mentioned that Krishna disappeared from their sight, but was actually fully watching everything that was happening to them and relishing their love for him. So that's even interesting, more interesting to hear. And then he will appear back after they're in desperation, you know, that beautiful prayer, Gopika Geetam, Jayati Tedikam Janmana Braja, Shayata Indira, Shashwadatrahi, Dayita Drishyatam Dikshutavaka, Tvai Drishta Sava, Stvam Vichimvate. Sharadudasaye sadhu jatasa sarasi jodhara sri mushadrisha suratanatate yashulka dasika varadhanignato neha kimvada. Beautiful verses. See, they're saying ashulka dasika. Shulka means payment. Ashulka means no payment. We are your servants. We do service to you, but we don't take any payment. So we are Ashulka Dasika. Varada Nignato Neha Kim Vada. Why are you killing us like this? By being absent. We are Ashulka Dasika. We don't take any payment for the service that we do. Right? So very beautifully mentioned, like crying and heartfelt and very deep and ravaged, and they don't know what they can do without Krishna. So this is like the height of absorption. So it's mentioned that the gopis at that point of time were enjoying the highest level of Maharasa, Mahabhava, Anubhava and Mahanubhava. This is all described in the Nectar of Devotion. You can read it, what levels of ecstasy they were experiencing. So there's a science behind it. So that's why I said it's very exotic and very deep. In the material world, you have this phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder. I don't know whether it's a Shakespearean term or a phrase. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. That's why sometimes people stay away so that I can appreciate you better when I come back. Familiarity breeds contempt is the other side of it. Too close together for too long and all that, you don't have any value for each other. So sometimes you want to separate. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And when you're absent, then you feel, oh gosh, I really miss this person. I wish I'll be with him again. And remember this happened, we went to this park, we did that, we played like this, we had this experience. Oh, I wish he was there again. As soon as he comes back to you, and then you find sick of him in the next 24 hours, say, why the hell did he come back at all? Yeah, why don't you go and stay where you were? You're going to feel. So that the thing in the material world is also, you can say, sambhoga, viraha and all that. But that experience is not really what's described here. That is bhoga tyaga. In the material world, it is bhoga tyaga. Bhoga means enjoying matter and material. Tyaga means, for the sake of another good bhoga, I'll give it up now. When I went to the Muslim, Buddhist places, when I was touring Thailand and Sri Lanka and all the Southeast Asian places, all these Buddhist big monasteries and everything. I visited some of the monasteries and everything. And I went to some sort of a Gurukul training area. Somewhere deep, I just went inside. I'm sorry, this is in Cambodia. I went to see the Angkor Wat, and then I walked inside the rural areas. Let's just go with some of our devotees. And I walked inside something like a training young Buddhist. And he saw me. Then he said that, why are you wearing a ring? Gold ring and all not allowed for sadhus. I said, this ring is given to be my mother very long back. I'm just keeping her a sentiment. Then he gave me a vague look. Then I said, you don't look like a sadhu. You look well shaven and nicely bespectacled, and you have a ring and you have this. I said, what has that got to do with this? And then he had his own arguments, something. He said, I said, yeah, I appreciate that type of, austerity. But then as we were conversing, the other person who was taking me around also said, these guys, they'll do austerity for some time. They'll go every day and beg. I've seen them come early in the morning. When I was in Bangkok, I was walking in the morning after Mangalarati. I went out for a walk. Nobody was on the roads. But around 6 o'clock, all these Buddhists came out with their, saffron cloth and everything. And they had this big basket with them. And they go in front of every house and say, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami. And they say something else, I forget that. And they'll come and ring the bell 3 times. And they'll come from inside the house and they give them this, that, everything. They give meat, they give that, eggs, they give all sorts of things, vegetables, fruits and all that and that. And they take and go back. This is their austerity. They do this, they go on top and then they distribute it in the ashram and whatever it is. But then this is their austerity. After some time, they just completely leave the ashram and come down into the regular civil life. And they enjoy like nothing. They go to their restaurants, they go for dancing, they do all sorts of things. And then they get back again and do austerity. I was thinking about, the guy is talking about my ring. What about what they do regularly? Bhoga Tyaga stuff. They enjoy like nothing and then they go back again and do austerity. So the material world, it is actually not viraha and sambhoga. It is actually keeping away from material enjoyment so that you can enjoy better. Because it's becoming, monotonous, boring. Sense gratification is becoming too monotonous. And we need some sort of a different type of variety to it. And therefore, let's stay away from it for some time. For 1 week, let me go to my so-and-so person's place and forget about the whole thing. When I come back, I'll be done. So, enjoyment also, somebody will say, is like that. No, this is not that. It's mentioned that there is no limit, asima. There's no limit to the enjoyment that Krishna has. There's no limit. In the material world, there is a limit because our senses have got a limit. And after some time, we have to stop and do tyaga so that we can come back and do bhoga. But Krishna has no limit in enjoying. This spiritual enjoyment you're talking, the gopis are experiencing, it's asima. It's unlimited. Unlimited. Just goes woo. Anandam bhudivardhanam pratipadam purnam ritaswadanam. It is no limit to who dare puts a limit on the absolute truth, Krishna's enjoyment. Who is there as his authority? But we in the material world are thoroughly limited, conditioned. with our limited sense gratification. Each one of our senses is very limited. I can eat about, 5-10 gulab jamuns, and after that, that's it. Even if you place so many in front of me, I can't eat. Sometimes we go to eat in devotees' houses and all that. Eat, Prabhu, eat, Prabhu. They'll put all sorts of things on your plate. And please, don't let him. I can't eat like that. And that time we can understand you have a limitation. Your body has a limitation. Your senses have a limitation. Imagine if your senses don't have a limitation in the material world. You will become crazy. And the material world requires limitation. Because we are so frayed in our consciousness. So you cannot handle enjoyment and gratification that is unlimited in the conditioned body. But when your body is completely spiritualized, that's in your spiritual body, and your senses are all spiritual, why there should be a limitation on it? Especially when you're with Krishna and enjoying unlimited gratification. That's what the gopis are enjoying in Viraha. It's like you must get to know exactly what it is. It's like too good. You can't even dream of that enjoyment. It's billion times, trillion times greater than what we enjoy in sense gratification. Unlimited, no boundaries. Because Krishna gives it to them. Krishna gives it to them. That type of enjoyment he gives, and then he disappears. And that doubles and triples even more. Because they meditate very deeply on Krishna when Krishna is not there. And all the pastimes, very deep. So you can imagine how many million-fold it will be increasing. That's the meaning of Anandam Bhudivardhanam Pratipadam Purna Mritaswadanam. That is, amazing. So that is being spoken about here. An analogy that Prabhupada is picking up and speaking about the gopis' enjoyment. And this is why Lord Chaitanya, who is a sannyasi, is speaking about this type of an enjoyment. And somebody is commenting that how can a sannyasi discuss about the loving affairs between, members of the opposite sex? Well, this is not just loving affairs in the material world. It's transcendental, completely spiritual, and out of the world enjoyment, which only Krishna can do. This type of enjoyment Krishna specializes in. Krishna's 4 characteristics which make him uniquely different from even Narayana and Vishnu, the demigods and everybody else, are this. His capacity to enjoy these leelas in an amazingly superlative way and take his loving gopis along with him in that enjoyment. And then take them on top and then disappear and then again come back. And he gives them height of enjoyment. That is why they can never forget Krishna, even for a minute, for a moment. That is why they're cursing Brahma, saying that, what eyes have you designed? You don't understand what we have to enjoy. And how dare you design eyes like this? This is unfit. It's binding. It's a boundary. It's a restriction on the enjoyment. That is why it's mentioned, Jada Udikshatam Pakshma Kriddisham. They are mentioning the Gopika Geetam, Jada. You are a Jada. You are a blockhead. Pakshma Kriddisham. Aksha. I am not able to, for that moment, see the Lord when I have to twitch my eyelids. And that's a great loss. That's the level of separation that the gopis feel. In our sadhana state, we'll be wondering, how can I ever feel like that? For me, it's the opposite. I sometimes think of Krishna. For the gopis, even if the eye twitches, they're cursing Brahma. For me, the twitch of the eye, that amount of time, sometimes I land up thinking of Krishna intensely. It's the opposite for us. This is sadhana that we do. So, Krishna is the object of love. Krishna is the Vishaya. And all of us are the, persons who can see that object. See means not only with your eyes, perceive, experience, and enjoy. And when you do that, you are at the peak performance of your individuality, peak performance of your relationship with the Lord. And that's the exciting thing about it. All these things are discussed in great depth by Ramananda Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Ramananda Rai is egged upon by Lord Chaitanya. Go ahead, go, tell me further, like that. And at one point of time, he will mention how you are actually that same Krishna, enjoying and asking me to. Then Ramananda Rai, is speaking this. Lord Chaitanya will use his hands and close his mouth from speaking that. You're actually that same Krishna who is come in the form of Radha and Krishna, and you're enjoying in Radharani's mood, that thing and all that. He'll shut his mouth. Don't speak anymore. But till then he was telling us, speak, speak, speak. I want to hear. And he was, relishing that. So, like I mentioned, these are very exotic topics. And at least we should know that there are situations like this waiting for us in this world. And taking advantage of that by at least knowing theoretically, that's why we read Shastra. When we read, we actually know, K-N-O-W, which means knowledge we have. We have information at least. And the more we think about this information, it becomes knowledge. And knowledge means it becomes a reality that we accept. And then gradually that becomes a conviction. And we act, feel, think, and will like that. And when we start doing like that, gradually love manifests. And that prema manifests, and then you become lalasa, uttama shloka lalasa. You become greedy to have that association. A step-by-step process to describe the nectar of devotion. You become very greedy. Tatra mulyam laulyam. The price you have to pay for this is the greed you have for that. So the more greedy you become out of understanding and realization and service and everything, the more you become a person hankering for it. When you're really hankering for it, that time Krishna gives it to you. Because it requires that qualification. The gopis were fully qualified like that. They're fully qualified like that. See, so lots of things are mentioned in the Bhagavatam on these issues by great acharyas. It suffices to say that what we enjoy in the material world, which we are so addicted to, life after life, we come back to do the same small, cheap, low-class enjoyment. Although we are spirit souls, we mess around with our bodies, with our mental situations and our material situations, and we try to eke out some enjoyment from experience. Kanduriyena karayori vadukka dukkam. Beautiful shloka that Prahlad Maharaj describes, that the enjoyment of rubbing two skins together, the more you scratch this itch of sense gratification, the more it will become sore, and the more there'll be bleeding. Eva dukkha dukkham. In the material world, you have the tendency inside to enjoy, but when you seek it through the material platform and through the material body you have, it's misery. Because I told you there are boundaries and there are limitations with the senses and this body, and you become frustrated like nothing. Because you as spirit soul have a capacity far surpassing what this body and this material situation can give you. And the frustration is because of that. The more you know Krishna, the more you think these things are so cheap and I don't want it. Like Bilvamangal Thakura has explained that now that I am thinking of that Yadu dynasty boy, Krishna, and completely absorbed in thoughts of him, whenever thoughts of sense gratification cross my mind, right? Nava nava rasa udhyatum rantum achit. And he said, what is it? Tava Nari Sangame Sushtu Nishtivanam Cha. Not getting the full shloka in my memory. Sushtu Nishtivanam Cha, my face contorts and I spit out, like you said, dirty, low-class stuff. That when the thought comes in my mind about even a flash of a thought, then I feel like spitting out. What is it compared to the Nava Nava Rasa Udyatum Rantum Asit? That newer and newer rasas cropping up in my experience with Krishna. And I'm enjoying that. In between that, sometimes the so-called mundane stuff, I'm living this world and I have senses, body and everything. So it just crosses my mind. Another time my face contorts and I spit out Sushtu Nishtivanam Cha. As though it is like low-class stuff. This is the expression of a very advanced devotee, Bilva Mangal Thakur, who gave up his association with a prostitute called Chintamani, whom he was visiting every day, and who gave him fantastic advice because she was a devotee of Krishna. And she told him that, if I was like you, why will I come searching for somebody like me to enjoy this useless body? What a waste of life that you're doing. She was so disgusted with him. You guy, in the storm and everything also, you make it all the way. What if you have put even 1/100th of this effort into Krishna? What a wonderful person you would be. You got this human body, you're a male form, and this is what you're doing with it? I wish I was like that. And then he immediately understood, by Krishna's mercy, he completely gave up out of disgust, because a prostitute was speaking like this to him. And he felt very insulted, frustrated, diminished, disparaged, and he just went away from there. And he never looked back. That's why he's saying, now that I am looking at any place I look, I see Krishna and I'm enjoying that association of Krishna. When I remember and think about the sense gratification I had, I feel like contorting my face and spitting out. Why did I even do that? Why did I even think of it? Right? So this is an experience of a person who was a heavy sense gratifier and later become a great devotee. So these are realities. These are realities. These things are true. And we can see in our own life, gradually our senses fade off. They lose their capacity to enjoy. We become older, and then you're just hankering inside for that enjoyment. Because my body is weak, I'm not able to enjoy, and I'm just, hankering to enjoy. And such people are people who have never tasted Krishna consciousness in their life. So it's very pathetic, sad, right? So Shankaracharya has described that, what is it? Angam galitam palitam mundam, dasavihinam jatam tundam, vruddho yati grihitva dandam, tadapi namunchati asha pindam. What a beautiful shloka this is. He says, Angam galitam. Angam means all your limbs and all of your things have, galitam means have melted down, like a candle melts down. It's only skin and bones. Angam galitam, malitam pundam, mundam. Mundam means your hair has fallen off, you become bald. Vruddho yati grihitva dandam. Vruddha means you become so old that you need a danda, a stick to stay straight. And you're shivering and shaking. Vruddho yati grihitva dandam, tadapina munchati asha pindam. But the asha pinda, that hard knot of thing in your heart, that has not changed anyway. Your body is reduced, your hair has fallen off, your teeth have fallen off, you're holding a stick. But when you look at gratification again, wow, that is a nice girl. Yeah, tadapina munchati asha pindam. That asha pinda, it has not reduced even 1 micron. It is still hankering. So you're getting ready for your next life in this material world with all this desires inside you. You're going to get another body, and you desire so much to enjoy, and you're going to suffer birth, death, old age, disease. You get harassed by 101 things. Your material enjoyment is meant to give you frustration. It's meant to give you frustration. One astrologer told me, it's like this, Swamiji. Suppose I'm placing in front of you a fantastic plate of food, which you like very much. And as you're eating, I keep taking sand, mud, and keep putting it. In every mouth you take, oh. As I'm tasting that, I'm also biting the mud and my teeth are getting hurt and my gums are bleeding and when can I enjoy this without that sand and mud? No. In the material world, he said, that's how enjoyment is. That's how enjoyment is. You constantly be harassed when you're enjoying. It is designed like that. It make you feel that you're enjoying. It's all mental, but actually you're suffering. So he gave me this very picturesque way of explaining what is material enjoyment. So for all this enjoyment, we work so hard. We take birth, we suffer so many attachments, and we suffer so many relationships. And then we eke out a little enjoyment. By the time it's time to die, and we die. It's ragging. And then again you're born. Then you're dreaming, this will happen, that will happen. It never happens. And then hungry for it, again you die. Then again you're born. You're actually getting ragged by material nature. You're made to think that it's happening, it's great, it's happening. And then you die. If you stand out and look with knowledge, that's why knowledge is very important. That's why reading the Bhagavad Gita and reading the Bhagavata especially will put you out and give you this notion and understanding how you suffer, how you're being cheated. Whereas Lord Chaitanya has come and is given, just chant Hare Krishna, and I will award you the greatest love that the gopis enjoyed. It's fantastic period in Lord Chaitanya's time. So if we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, with sincerity, with focus, and with deep prayer, gradually we can get purified and free from this tendency to enjoy materially. And we will get the experience that the gopis are getting in this life through the chanting of the holy name. That's a guarantee given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Any comment or any questions that you would have, we'll be happy to try to answer them.
Maharaj, do you know anybody who is starting these classes from the beginning? A friend of mine is interested in Bhagavad Gita classes.
These are, you can go to our website, bhaktiyoga.live, and you can check out, there are announcements. There are in Malayalam language, there is in Tamil language, there is in English language. So you can please check that, bhaktiyoga.live. Okay, or you can talk to Subhangi Radha Indulekha Devidasi. She will tell you about the classes. It's there in the website, it's there in many places. I'm not able to immediately give you the exact timing, I don't manage that. Okay? Yeah.
Okay.
Any other question or comment?
Krishna Maharaj, Dandapano.
Yeah.
Maharaj, in this verse, it is mentioned that when you get an association, then you feel the Vipralamba Bhava. So, as a neophyte like us, to at least get an association, Maharaj said that we need to start chanting. And
association of whom? Association of
Krishna,
whom?
Krishna, Lord devotees.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why Krishna is in your also, although you are in a situation where you're just about going to do something and experience it. Krishna has come in the form of the holy name. There's no difference between the holy name and Krishna. So he's so kind enough that he actually has presented himself in the form of the vibration of the holy name. If you chant very carefully with focus, you can gradually experience Krishna. That's a guarantee given. So we have to have faith in that and chant offenselessly, gradually. And Prabhupada told us that it happens, and it has happened for many people. And at least you can see that gradually you become attached to chanting of the holy name. You start getting a taste for it. You know, if you hear some of these beautiful bhajans sung by some of these great devotees, there is a great devotee called Ramadas from Bhadrachala Ramadas. Those people who are Telugu, they know about Bhadrachala Ramadas. I remember in my younger days, my father used to sing this song, you know, O Rama Ni Nama Yanta Ruchira Rama Yanta Ruchira O Rama Ni Nama Yanta Ruchira. My father used to sing this while he was, in the morning dressing up and all that. So I remember this, and I used to ask him, what it is. And he explained once when I was very young, he said, this devotee is a Rama's devotee. He's saying the word Rama has got so much taste. Oh Rama, ni nama, yanta ruchira. Oh Rama, your name is so tasty. Oh, so tasty. Oh, so is actually completely enjoying the chanting of the holy name. And he's expressing it in this song. It was so beautiful. My father used to sing this song once in a while in his when he wanted to relax and there were too many things affecting him. But later in life, I understood that, yeah, the chanting of the holy name is tasty. Given free time and all that, I like to sit down and open the bead bag and say, don't disturb me, and just sit and just chant. I just give time for chanting, and it's my private, time with Krishna. Like I say, my rendezvous, my secret meeting with Krishna every day. And we sit quietly and we chant. Devotees enjoy that. In the morning after Mangalarati, they all sit together. They get completely free time. Nobody disturbs them. They just simply sit in Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. If you actually focus, you'll start enjoying it. That means you're starting tasting of the holy name. And if you keep going like that without any offenses, without any of this thing, it's going to lead you to an experience of Krishna. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Right. I hope that helps you, Sri Ramji.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Right. Thank you, Akshay Dikshit, for posting Yadavadi Mamacheta Krishna Padara Vinde Nava Nava Rasa Da Udhyatum Dhamna Udhyatum Rantum Asit Tadavadi Batanari Sangame. Then it goes further. Sushtu Nishti Vanamcha. Bilu Mangal Thakur Shlokash. Akshay Dikshit has posted it here. Thank you very much. Okay. Any other comment or question? Okay, we'll keep it short and sweet. Good night and have sweet dreams of Krishna.